WrestleMania 13's tagline may be heat, but it'll be a cold day in hell before this show cracks anyone's top 5. It is, however, memorable for one of the greatest matches in its history, as Stone Cold Steve Austin passes out in Bret Hart's sharpshooter during their submission match. Both men would effectively swap roles as heel and face during the bout, with Austin going on to become one of the most revered superstars of all time. We then have the rest of the card featuring LOD and Ahmed Johnson defeating The Nation in a Chicago street fight, and The Undertaker winning the big one with a victory over Psycho Sid. Shawn Michaels is at ringside for commentary here after surrendering the title 1 month earlier, claiming he had lost his smile and would need reconstructive knee surgery that could very well end his career. I'm sure this had nothing at all to do with the fact that Michaels had been scheduled to return the favor to Bret Hart and drop the title to him at the show. It's worth noting, for a guy with a bum knee, Michaels showed off some pretty good dance moves before the match. WrestleMania 14 from Boston's Fleet Center proves to be a turning point for the company and ignites the flame of the Austin-McMahon rivalry as Stone Cold pinned Shawn Michaels in the main event to win the WWE title with an unexpected assist from honorary Degeneration X member Iron Mike Tyson. After the match, Tyson lays out Michaels with a punch, sending him off to the showers and major back surgery that would keep him out of action for over 4 years. The Undertaker defeats his brother Kane in their first of 2,000 matches, though not before Kane dumps baseball's all-time hits king Pete Rose on his head with a tombstone, much to the delight of Red Sox Nation. Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie win the tag team titles in a dumpster match, and LOD 2000 win a special tag team battle royal. WrestleMania 15 is billed as the raging climax from the city of brotherly love. With high hopes of being special referee for the main event, Mr. McMahon's dreams are dashed by Commissioner Shawn Michaels, while Stone Cold and The Rock have their first of 3 Mania matches, seeing Austin reclaim the title. Undertaker leaves the boss man hanging from the cell. Triple H reunites with Chyna but goes corporate in doing so. Butterbean KOs Bart Gunn in 35 seconds, and Pete Rose, disguised as Poultry, seeks a measure of revenge on Kane, only to be dumped on his noggin for the 2nd year in a row. WrestleMania 2000, the only such event referred to by year, returns to the Anaheim Pond and is the only Mania to not feature a traditional one-fall-to-a-finish singles match. The championship would be contested under fatal 4-way rules with a McMahon in every corner as Mick Foley returns for one last payday and the chairman turns on The Rock, resulting in a rare occurrence of the heel going over in the main event. Kurt Angle manages to lose not 1 but 2 titles in a triple threat, also featuring the 2 Canadian Chris's. Edge and Christian win the tag team titles in a triangle ladder match, and Pete Rose's weapon of choice this year, a baseball bat. But it's all for naught as he gets chokeslammed for his troubles and stink-faced by Rikishi. The greatest WrestleMania of all time? That's what many would say about number 17 from the Houston Astrodome, the first from the Lone Star State. A rabid crowd of 67,925 threw its support behind its native son, Stone Cold Steve Austin, on the comeback trail from spinal fusion surgery and in search of his 5th WWE title. He would once again defeat The Rock, this time aligning with the Machiavellian Mr. McMahon, cementing a shocking heel turn. Shane O'Mac wins a father-versus-son street fight with an assist from his mother, while a contingent of mid-card WCW stars cheer on their new boss from the rafters, this coming little more than a week after WWE bought out their competition, effectively ending the wrestling wars. Edge and Christian are victorious in TLC 2, Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit lock horns in every wrestling mark's wet dream, Motorhead plays Triple H to the ring for his loss against The Undertaker, and Bobby Heenan joins Mean Gene Okerlund at ringside for the Iron Sheik's win in the Gimmick Battle Royal, which also includes the likes of Repo Man and the Gobbledygooker. We're headed up north again for WrestleMania 18, the last installment to feature the WWF initials, back at the Skydome in Toronto before a record crowd of 68,237. Hollywood Hogan's Skydome jinx continues as he loses to The Rock in an epic icon vs. icon match, but wins back his fans in the process, leading to a split with the NWO. Triple H, fresh off rehab for a torn quad, disposes of Chris Jericho to become the undisputed champion. Steve Austin is relegated to the mid-card in a lopsided win over Scott Hall. The Dead Man goes 10-0 with a win over Ric Flair, and Edge defeats Booker T in a battle over shampoo. A record-breaking 54,097 crammed into Safeco Field in Seattle for WrestleMania 19, often overlooked and underappreciated for a stacked card featuring Brock Lesnar beating Kurt Angle for the WWE title, this despite a botched shooting star press that nearly resulted in tragedy. Steve Austin competing in what would turn out to be his final match, losing to The Rock clean in the middle of the ring. Hulk Hogan defeating Vince McMahon in a match billed as 20 years in the making, Shawn Michaels making his in-ring Mania return with a classic victory over Y2J, and Triple H retaining his World Heavyweight title over Booker T. And Lance Storm is still pissed that his tag title match with Chief Morley against Kane and RVD was bumped to heat in favor of a pillow fight involving the Miller Lite Catfight girls. Hard to argue with him there. WrestleMania 20 is where it all begins. Again, from Madison Square Garden, the highest grossing event ever for the company at the venue. John Cena gets us started with a U.S. title win over the Big Show. Trish Stratus turned on Chris Jericho and aligns herself with Captain Charisma. Evolution defeats the Rock and Sock Connection, after which the Great One quietly retires from the business. Goldberg and Brock Lesnar are booed out of the building as the crowd already knows both men are on their way out of the company. The Dead Man reunites with Paul Bearer to defeat his now unmasked brother Kane. Molly Holly is shaved bald. Latino Heat cheats to win against Kurt Angle, and Chris Benoit makes Triple H tap out in a triple threat main event, realizing an 18-year odyssey and becoming World Heavyweight Champion. Benoit and Guerrero are showered with confetti as they celebrate together with Benoit's wife and son in a scene that is incredibly painful to watch 4 years later. WrestleMania goes Hollywood for the 21st installment in 2005 from the Staples Center in Los Angeles. No greater authority than Bobby the Brain Heenan calls the Kurt Angle-Shawn Michaels match on this night the greatest he has ever witnessed, and indeed what a match it is, ending 28 minutes in with Michaels forced to tap to the ankle lock. Batista, having broken broken away from Evolution, snares the World Heavyweight title from Triple H. John Cena defeats JBL to usher in his first reign as WWE Champion. Undertaker upends the Legend Killer. Edge wins the inaugural Money in the Bank ladder match. Akibono goes sumo on Big Show. Freshly inducted Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan comes to Eugene's rescue, and Stone Cold makes an appearance on Piper's Pit. WrestleMania 22 is truly big time in its return to the Windy City of Chicago. Triple H enters as Conan the Barbarian, while John Cena brandishes his Tommy gun. It's all very silly, you see, but the outcome is shocking as Cena retains his title by submission, forcing the game to tap out to the STFU. Rey Mysterio honors the memory of Eddie Guerrero by becoming the unlikeliest of heavyweight champions, defeating Kurt Angle and Randy Orton in a triple threat. HBK bloodies the owner in a fun garbage brawl. Mickey James takes the women's title from Trish Stratus, but forgets to take her meds. Edge shows Foley that he too is hardcore, and the whole effing show wins Money in the Bank. WrestleMania 23 returns to the state of Michigan for the 20th anniversary of the epic Silverdome event. A record crowd of 80,103 is announced for Ford Field, though the legit attendance actually stands at 74,687, and the event becomes the highest-grossing pro wrestling event in North American history, built largely on the hype surrounding the Battle of the Billionaires, with Donald Trump and Vince McMahon each choosing a representative to fight one another. Stone Cold Steve Austin officiates as Bobby Lashley beats Umaga, resulting in McMahon being shaved bald. With Triple H having torn his other quad, Shawn Michaels is tapped as his replacement, challenging John Cena for the WWE title. However, Michaels suffers the same fate as his DX stablemate the year prior, tapping to the STFU. Undertaker and Batista steal the show, with the Dead Man capturing championship gold at Mania for the first time in a decade and improving his unblemished record to 15-0. Chris Benoit retains his U.S. title over MVP in what would be his final Mania appearance, while Mr. Kennedy becomes Mr. Money in the Bank, promising to cash in his title shot at next year's WrestleMania. It was not meant to be, as he would lose the briefcase less than 2 months later. On March 30th, 2008, the Showcase of the Immortals will emanate from the Sunshine State, outdoors for the first time in 15 years from the Florida Citrus Bowl. Can the Legend Killer fend off both John Cena and the Game to keep his WWE title? Can the Undertaker advance the Sweet 16 with a world title win over Edge? Will HBK see to it that Ric Flair's career comes to an end after 35 years? What kind of match will Floyd Mayweather and the Big Show have? Who will win Money in the Bank? And of course, the real main event of this year's show, Bunny Mania. Enjoy the show, everybody. For SEScoops.com, this has been the Solomonster.